because I had like health conditions from young. My mum would take me on the train into the hospitals in central London, and that's when I would see these tags and graffiti. It would be on the train lines.
You know, when was you first diagnosed with autoimmune disease?
I've probably got about like 8 autoimmune conditions, to be honest. But the one that's really kind of sort of been a bit debilitating has been the rheumatoid arthritis. And also a couple of others as well. People who may be watching may have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, which is also known as POTS. And all together, these sort of culminate in they affect all of my organs, my connective tissue, my muscles, my bones, my bloods, everything, and just the way they're supposed to work. Often they work in a very different way. It's almost like an acceptance. It's almost the opposite in a way, accepting that this is happening, but okay, what can I do? And you know, like we touched on music earlier, and music for me, I think, is another reason why it's such a big part of my life, and probably just everyone in general, is it makes you feel good. It really lifts your spirits and your energy. It makes you feel incredible as well to be creating and pushing this creative energy out into the world, if you like, and also to see people's reactions when they're coming past, like the community, like kids especially. My body was getting clean. When your brain is obviously part of your body, so my brain was getting clean for the first time in my life, really, and so the creative side started to wake up again. I literally started to wake up, hence my t-shirt, Awake. I remember last year saying to my partner, you know what, if I was offered £1 million right now, but I had to stop painting, I'd reject that £1 million, you know. Money doesn't mean anything. I just feel energised that I'm alive, and that, you know, the world's a lot better than we're told it is. Like, there's so much more good in the world than bad.
100%.
So that's actually up on the walls.
Is that from a wall?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a wall. All of my stuff are walls.
Nina Simone.
The greatest Nina Simone, Rebel with a Cause. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I love Nina Simone.
That's amazing. Lights, camera, action. On this week's show, we have the highly talented artist who really brightens up our lives. And not only being a great artist, she's also an absolute diamond, an incredible person who has had to face many battles over the years and has used graffiti art to combat these negative times and has kept positive through her art form. Jelly J in the back.
So thank you for having me.
It's really amazing. I can't wait to talk to you about, you know, your art and your journey through life. And I'd also like to give like a big shout out to Pat from Ozone Recordings, Chocky Rock, and the big man himself, the main man, Billy Daniel Bunter, because we met at the rave story, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, just last month.
Yeah, and that's how we met. And anyone watching, subscribe to the channel and share this around the socials. So Jelly, first question I'd like to ask you is, you know, whereabouts are you from, and what was it like growing up, you know, as a youngster?
Yeah, so I grew up, I've always lived in London, grew up the other side of London actually, northwest, and yeah, it was, growing up was, in my house, is really vibrant actually. There was always music playing, food cooking. My dad was really into music, and so were my brothers.
Were they? What style of music was they into?
Well, my dad, from little, my dad is from Caribbean, so calypso, soca, you know, like good vibes music and good energy. And then my brothers were like, so they're older than me. One of them's like 10 years older than me, and so I grew up listening to a lot of dance music.
So you grew up around that kind of sort of rave sort of music culture.
Yeah, loud, very loud household, loud people as well. And then in terms of like other creativity, in terms of like my mum, like her fashion, she used to make her clothes as well and stuff. So like I was always surrounded by colour and you know, food as well. All of these things are like huge part of my life.
So it's really kind of creative. Was you into art as well? Was you into art at school?
Yeah, like from day one. I was drawing, you know, like as a toddler, before school, before any of that, because basically my mum, to like being Asian, I suppose, as well, that, you know, education started like as soon as you pop out. So like my mum would when she put me to bed at night, she'd be drawing these pictures and putting them on the wall next to my bed, like just house and things like that, just so that I'd, not house music, but just so that I'd learn how to spell house and things like that. And actually what I really was fascinated with was the drawings that she was doing more than the actual words. And so that was my first sort of engagement, if you like, with art. And and it was something that was in me anyway. And I was drawing from nursery, to be honest. And
so you've always pretty much had a pen in your hand, and
or a crayon,
or a crayon, like the old school way, or a bit of chalk.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and also, did you get into the hip hop sound as well, or?
So I was into something that lifts your vibration. So to go
100%.
to go raving, it was, for me, and even probably still now, it's always jungle, because that's what I like to rave to. But
and I noticed your little junglist bag to your left, to my right, which is absolutely amazing. We're going to talk about that later.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, the music, the hardcore, the hip hop, the drum and bass, the junglist music. I mean, there's so much energy behind it.
Yeah, big time. And I was actually always listening to that's what I rave to, but actually I listen to a massive range of music, everything from disco to like you said, hip hop, I guess kind of rare groove type stuff as well, whatever the mood I'm in.
Bit of funk and maybe a bit of Marvin Gaye.
Exactly, kind of back to like sort of loose ends type stuff as well, like all of these things that like I grew up hearing as a kid. Really, I was just absorbing all of these sounds, all these elements, and so much of what is in like jungle house are those that do come out of early samples from like disco and before that even.
The breaks and the drum breaks and all that stuff.
So I loved that. I loved like hearing where tunes originated from as well.
And in terms of like artists as well, was there any kind of key artists out there that were painting up like walls, or doing bits and bobs that you was kind of like inspired by?
To be honest, I was like, getting into graffiti was never a plan of mine. It just kind of happened by accident, like a really happy accident. But when I was younger, I was always fascinated by it. I loved watching like shows which had like New York scenes and things like that, sort of throwbacks to 70s, 80s type of shows, which I'd watch when I was really little. And
they were incredible, weren't they? I mean, did you remember the film called The Warriors?
No, I don't.
Oh, you never seen that?
No.
You're gonna have to watch that.
Okay.
But what kind of films were kind of sparking it off for you?
Do you know what it was? I remember I was really young, and it was probably maybe a bit violent for me to be allowed to be watching.
You shouldn't have been watching it.
It was like it was a series like Cagney and Lacey. I don't know if you remember.
I love Cagney and Lacey.
Yeah,
I was a massive fan of Cagney and Lacey.
To be honest, that is where the opening scene showed this like subway shoot through New York and Brooklyn and stuff, and I just saw these trains all painted up, graffitied up, and I was always fascinated by the opening scene of
because we're doing graffiti trains. That's right.
So that kind of stayed with me, and then whenever I'd come across anything with graffiti on, I'd want to buy it, even if it was like some like crappy little notebook in W.H. Smith or something, that.
And did you love looking at like tags as well? I mean, did you like looking at people's hand styles? Because obviously, you had your art on your trains and on your walls and all that, but did you like looking at certain tags?
To be honest, where I grew up, and even really still now over that side, there isn't much going on the wall. So in person, no, I didn't really come across anything like that. The only time I would is because I had like health conditions from young. My mum would take me on the train into the hospitals in central London, and that's when I would see these tags and graffiti. It would be on the train lines and in transit, if you like. And so I didn't have anyone in particular, but I was quite fascinated that we had this in London as well. I thought it was really cool. And
there's some amazing taggers now, like, big up to 10 Foot. I mean, 10 Foot's doing some amazing things now. He's getting into places where, nobody else could really get to. I mean, and also Helch as well. You know, them guys and quite a few others as well. Really sort of you know, really kind of hammering places. You know, with their tags.
Literally everywhere.
Yeah,
it's like they can fly. I don't know, but they're really doing it. Yeah.
And also, actually, you got a book in the back as well, haven't you? Jamal Shabazz.
I do, yeah. Yeah.
And you know, Jamal Shabazz, for anyone watching, was an absolute wicked documentary photographer.
Yeah.
Back in the days, Brooke, and you know, he captured some, you know, incredible photographs, didn't he? Not necessarily of graphs so much, but more about the culture.
I don't know if you can see from there, but it's like, just these wicked captures of people around the US. A lot of them are in Brooklyn, and some in like New York and LA and stuff, and just these amazing train scenes as well. And I was really fascinated by this book, actually. And also the fashion, because I love fashion as well. So I love that kind of retro style fashion, you know, the
rocking the Kangols, the Gazelles,
and the crazy big crazy big ugly glasses.
Yeah, the Gazelle style.
Yeah, the Gazelles, the Adidas, the old school.
The little name chains.
Yeah.
Because you know, it's about attention to detail as well. Another thing about hip hop as well is attention to the details.
Yeah.
So as I said before, I mean, looking at you, Jelly, do you know what I mean? You're rocking the Adidas socks.
Yeah, I've got my own name chain too.
with the Adidas, you know, jogging bottoms and a little name chain. You know, you look absolutely brilliant. And check them earrings out.
No, my jelly earrings.
They are wicked.
I'm basically tagging myself.
Can you get closer to the camera with them? Were they
see those?
Were they specially made?
Yeah, they were. Sadly, I've had my own earrings made, and that came about really because, like, in a lot of my murals that I was doing, I in the jewellery that I do, because I do like female faces, and I was doing these massive earrings with jelly, basically look exactly like this. And did it so much, I was like, you know, I was starting to get jealous of my own, my own graffiti. So I got some made.
You got your own ones made.
Yeah.
But no, they look absolutely amazing. We're going to talk about, you know, your creative stuff towards the end of this interview, where people can support and buy bits and bobs and the t-shirts and the bags and, you know, everything else.
Yeah.
Right, we're going to kind of touch on this subject. So this is something you have to deal with on a daily basis. You know, you have a condition called autoimmune disease, and reading up on it, it kind of attacks the healthy cells, the tissues and organs, and weakens bodily functions. It's also very common within women as well, and I think it's around something like 4 million people within the UK have this, I don't like to say disease, like condition. So, you know, when was you first diagnosed with autoimmune disease?
I've probably got about like 8 autoimmune conditions, to be honest. But the one that's really kind of sort of been a bit debilitating has been the rheumatoid arthritis. And also a couple of others as well. People who may be watching may have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, which is also known as POTS. And all together, these sort of culminate in they affect all of my organs, my connective tissue, my muscles, my bones, my bloods, everything, and just the way they're supposed to work. Often they work in a very different way, and so the aim of these conditions is to deteriorate the body, really. And it's been quite a struggle, I suppose. It's a very serious set of conditions.
Well, I mean, I suffer from arthritis. I've got arthritis in my spine.
Okay.
So I kind of know a little bit about, you know, how you're feeling. You know, it affects you mentally. It affects you, you know, physically. It makes you extremely tired.
Yeah. There's no day off. You know, I always say there's, you know, it's 24/7. You don't get, you know, weekends off. There's no Christmas holidays. There's no day off. It's just constant. It's a
24/7 thing, isn't
literally.
it? I mean, how does it kind of impact your daily life?
Very much so, to be honest. I mean, only like over Easter I was using a wheelchair to get around, actually, and stairs are very difficult and things like that. But it's also very kind of peaks and troughs as well. I really try to focus on being as positive as I can, and that doesn't mean pretending it's not happening, but it's trying to
you're trying to mentally shut it out.
Yeah, not shut it out as such or ignore that it's happening. It's almost like an acceptance. It's almost the opposite in a way, accepting that this is happening, but okay, what can I do? And we touched on music earlier, and music for me, I think, is another reason why it's such a big part of my life, and probably just everyone in general, is it makes you feel good. It really lifts your spirits and your energy, and
it does.
So I try to listen to music every single day, especially in the morning, to get me going, to lift my vibrations and put me in the best spot that I can be for that day. And it really does work. We are energy beings. We're full of electricity, and we literally resonate, and so those vibrations, if you like, do resonate within us, and you can feel it. Everyone knows that feeling of feeling good when they're at a club or a rave, or they hear it even at home. They hear a song which
how it makes you feel. You get up, you're dancing, you're smiling.
Yeah, exactly. So it's that, but on a bigger scale, that I try to evoke that, if you like, to help my health.
So you're trying to kind of, it's a little way in kind of escaping from that kind of, maybe a bit of pain you're suffering,
the
and
physicality of it.
Exactly. And would you say, graffiti art as well, would you say that also that must help? I mean, being creative and doing what you do, creating these like stunning, pieces of work. That must really, really kind of help as well.
Oh, 100%. Like I always say, like, I feel when it's just you and that wall, there's very few moments in today's sort of society, if you like, that you really feel like you're in the moment, truly. And when you're there in front of that wall, it's just you and that wall, and it's like the rest of the world falls apart. The rest
of the world, all this negativity, all this kind of war or whatever it is, you shut it all out, and you're kind of in your own little space, and you're getting zoned in on that wall. You're forgetting about all the the suffering, the pain, the negativity, and you're pushing positivity back into the art form.
It's like you're in another realm almost. Your brain, you literally get in the zone. Before you know it, it's lunchtime, and then the sun starts going down, and you're they're still painting, and it makes you feel incredible as well to be creating and pushing this creative energy out into the world, if you like, and also to see people's reactions when they're coming past, like the community, like kids especially. It's really positive.
Well, that's the thing. It's another thing as well. You're brightening up the community through this, amazing art form, and it'll brighten up their life. Why do you want a plain, horrible, bleak, dark, wet, damp wall that's not giving out any kind of negativity? You want to brighten the place up, brighten up your community, make it somewhere where it's very welcoming.
Exactly. And you said there about kids, and what I've noticed about kids as well is they're really fascinating, and quite a few times with my murals, and I have a lot of colour in there, and it's very vibrant, but kids, for some reason, adults don't really do this, but quite a few kids have gone up to my murals, the graffiti, and they've touched the wall, like they're putting their face, like they want to go through the artwork. It's really
totally get that.
It's like a portal for them. I don't know what's going on for them there, but it's really fascinating and amazing to see.
In terms of with these conditions you've got, what is kind of like the long-term effects of this?
Prognosis on paper is not very good. It's very debilitating. Like I said, you can be in a wheelchair, so the mobility side is the major factor of this, I suppose. Getting everyday help, care, and things like that. But myself, I have been doing this for a very long time. I've been on very, very intense drugs for this. So I've been on chemotherapy for 20 odd years for this. This is like the sort of base meds, if you like, for this condition, as well as these other much harsher biologic drugs. But then it got to a point where I had a bad reaction to a drug, and so it was at that point that something just switched in my head. I literally basically almost died, and it was up to the daycare nurse to decide to pull that infusion and to stop giving it to me that day, because she was literally calculating the distance between my chair and that room on that drip to resuscitation. She was like, "You're not going to make it in time," and so she was like, "I'm making this decision." She overruled the doctors basically. After that, something just switched in my head, and just by coincidence, someone I know told me about somebody she was seeing holistically, and she was like, this person's really worked for me. And so then I started to explore holistic medicine, and that's what I've been doing for a few years now. And
so how does that actually work, holistic medicine? So you've come off all the kind of the chemicals and the chemo and all that, and now
so it wasn't straight away, so no one would advise you come off something cold turkey, because you need to be supported with something. And with holistic medicine, basically what they do is they look at the mainstream medicine very much addresses the symptoms of a disease or a condition, whereas holistic looks for the root cause and tries to literally root it out of your body, rather than just kind of suppressing it with medications. And so I tried the suppressing it with medications for years and years, and I was still ill, so I thought, well, let me try something else. And so then I went down this holistic route, and it knocks into every part of your life. I was just used to going to my hospital and doing what they say, taking the medication, and not changing anything else in my life, whereas this involved changing the way you eat.
Food is very important, isn't it? Because food I know, because of my condition with my arthritis and all that, it's like it can cause like inflammation.
There are inflammatory foods,
and also your gut is like, it's linked to your brain. Studies have shown it's linked to your brain, so also mental health as well. So the food you're putting into your body makes a huge difference.
Changing the food made a massive difference. That was almost instant, that difference. I noticed I had a lot more energy. I could walk a lot
so what did you do, Jelly? Did you kind of cut out sugar? You cut out the burgers and all the crap?
I wasn't living on burgers or anything, but, not with my mum around. But no, I was. I thought I was eating pretty healthily, and then when I looked at it in a holistic way, I realised actually, I did have a lot of preservatives going on in the cupboards and things like that, with tins of stuff, sauces, things like that. So the main things I cut out was gluten, dairy, sugar.
Wow.
They're the main things. And nightshade, which is very inflammatory, like anything in the nightshade family, which can exacerbate autoimmune inflammatory conditions. So that was where I started, and first thing I noticed was this increase in energy, which was amazing.
Wow.
So I could walk further down the road and kind of do more, if you like. Then I was treated with various nutritional supplements, but all very specific to my body. So whereas you might go to a doctor and they will give you, pain medication for a condition or any medication, but they won't necessarily tailor that for your body specifically, but holistically they do, which is incredible.
It's so important, so pivotal into
really is.
I mean, I was reading up on arthritis and how certain natural medication, I don't know if you call it medication, but maybe things like turmeric. I've got these as well, glucosamine sulfate.
Oh yeah.
So I've got loads I'm taking, and vitamin D, vitamin C. So I'm trying to put all this goodness, back into my body, and I'm hoping it's working, because talking to you, Jelly, obviously it is working, which is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's incredible. I've last year I officially came off the chemo, which is really cool. But way before that, I came off the really harsh codeine, which I was on I was on I don't know,
heavy painkillers, isn't it?
Yeah, I was on 24 pills a day plus chemo injections and biologic injections. I was on a lot of stuff, and I didn't realise really what it was doing to me. But I the reason I stopped the painkillers is, one, I realised actually it wasn't stopping the pain anymore. It was just comatosing my brain and making me quite foggy.
Well, going into kind of like a zombie kind of state.
Exactly like a zombie.
Yeah.
But also I was bleeding internally as well, and I was like, okay, this can't. And also around the same time I made this decision, I'd seen this Elvis documentary on how he died, and it was basically on the stuff that I was taking, and it's, you know, he basically ruptured his colon or something like that, because these meds, they narrow your blood vessels, and I was like, okay, yeah, so I kind of, yeah, thank Elvis for me coming off the codeine, really. And yeah, and I didn't feel any worse for it, actually. Yeah, so that was a really my starting point of coming off the meds. And then, you know, I've done various homeopathic things along this route as well. And yeah, I really feel that I'm going in the right direction, and it's going to take a while because I've had years and years, like 20 odd years of all of this stuff, medications and all sorts, which also, apart from addressing the illnesses, they do create other issues in the body. So I'm sweeping up, trying to deal with those as well along the way. But yeah, I'm definitely going in the right direction, although it's not necessarily like linear. But yeah, the overall path is correct, I feel. Oh,
definitely, you're going in the positive direction.
Yeah.
And, you know, what kind of, you know, positive advice could you give to someone that is going through this? Because obviously, as I said, you know, especially mentally, you know, it must be mentally, it must really kind of affect your mental state, you know, it must have a huge impact.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't really know any different, because I've had it my whole life.
Right,
much.
So you're kind of just used to it.
That's just my life.
Yeah, yeah.
But I guess I'd say, you know, there's always a way. There's always another way. We're kind of led to believe that, especially nowadays, there's like a pigeonhole for everything. You only have a certain amount of options, but actually, yeah, your options are completely open-ended and endless, really, if you kind of step back and think about it. I mean, for me, I never thought that I would be doing what I'm doing now. That was never a plan. I'd always drawn and loved painting and things like that, but it was never like in the capacity that it is now. And, you know, going through this holistic process, I just wanted to be in a bit less pain and more energy and things like that. But actually, one of the first things that happened was I was watching TV one day, and I had this like blank wall behind the TV, this white wall, and I was getting really distracted by it, and I ended up turning the TV off and just like painting the wall, like one of my sort of massive women that I paint, and I was like, oh, that was good, that was fun. But it was like a real urge. I needed to get that out. It was completely
And was it
crazy.
once you finished, was it kind of like a release?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it really was. And I'd never felt that sort of power, if you like, that energy, or that will to do something like that.
And so, that Jelly is a natural energy, you know, a very spiritual kind of energy, isn't it? Which you cannot, you know, you cannot get any better than that.
No, I mean, what had happened is, you know, my body was getting clean when your brain is obviously part of your body. So my brain was getting clean for the first time in my life, really. And so the creative side started to wake up again. I literally started to wake up, hence my t-shirt, Awake.
Amazing.
And
is that what you base your t-shirt around?
Well, kind of. I mean, awake means different things to different people,
of course.
You know, with things going on in the world as well.
That was kind of your first experience doing that mural on that wall of being awake.
Yeah. Now that I think of it, I think it was. It was something that was, it just came out of me. I don't know where it came from. It was.
Did you feel a bit kind of emotional? I mean, you must have done. Did you sort of well up a little bit and think, wow, this feels like something that I've never really kind of felt before?
Yeah, it was really a beautiful feeling. It was actually a euphoric feeling, and also it's a beautiful feeling in terms of my art had come back to me after so many years and on a big scale, and yeah, it was yeah, quite incredible feeling. And so what I actually decided to do was at that point was to had that love, that urge again to paint and create. And so what I did is I started up an Instagram page, and I had like a few images on there, like maybe 3 or 4 from stuff I'd done years ago, so old stuff, just for myself really, almost like a portfolio, online like a digital portfolio for myself. And then what happened is like a organisation contacted me called Kiss My Art, and invited me to paint in the vaults in Leek Street at this event, which was like, I don't know, like DJs playing music, like a clubbing atmosphere, with like hundreds of people like sort of clubbing and stuff, except the difference was there was like 10 artists in the centre of the room painting these really avant-garde kind of models, these dancers, and the audience had to vote for their favourite. And then and I just remember just being in my complete element. I've never done anything like that before, ever. All of these artists.
Was you nervous?
Do you know, I was more nervous and about getting there on time, and that's always where my nerves lies, the logistics of getting somewhere. Can I carry my things, and who's going to help me carry stuff and things like that.
So in terms of the creative side, you're not nervous with that at all. It just kind of comes naturally, but if you have a little bits and pieces on top, that's when you get a little bit nervous.
Yeah, I don't have the capacity, I don't have the time to be nervous about what I'm creating, because I'm worried about all these other logistic things. So once I was there, I was like, okay, so now I'm here. And you know, they were all professional artists, been like painting for like 10, 15 years or something, and I was just like brand new really. And I was like voted the second, in a close second apparently, in that like battle, if you like. And then after that I painted my first wall. Just continued. I just got a buzz for it after that. I met like a lot of artists on the scene, and got involved in the whole graffiti and street art thing, and haven't stopped painting since.
Yeah, nice, absolutely incredible. And I know you're also down with a wicked all-female artist crew, WOM Collective. Yeah,
they put on loads of like paint jams, and also do like lots of events. I've done like this wicked hip-hop event through WOM at South Bank, which it also involves Scanners Inc., which is like a hip-hop
big shout out to Kate.
Kate, she's amazing.
Kate's brilliant.
I really hope to work with them again, and it's just brilliant, the collaboration between like us as artists, and then like the break dancers, the DJs, the music. It's just a coming together of all that's good, creatively, and it just creates this incredible vibe, and people love it. Like especially kids, like I say, like they love it as well. It's and
the thing is, what it's doing is kind of taking it back to how it was back in the old, the old days of like, of early hip hop. It's bringing, the elements together as one. So, you've got your B-boys, your B-girls, your graffiti artists, your scratch DJs, beatboxers, everybody coming together as one in peace, unity, love, and having fun. And that's what it's all about. It's not about attitude and negativity and all that. It's about pushing positivity and giving back to the community.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that vibe that's created, you money can't buy it.
You can't buy that.
You can't buy it. All the money in the world can't buy the feeling that I have when I paint, and I don't have money. And I think every artist will say the same, really. Like I remember last year saying to my partner, you know what, if I was offered £1 million right now, but I had to stop painting, I'd reject that £1 million,
Money doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Listen, you could live in a 10-bed mansion house with the most amount of billions in the bank and be the most unhappiest, nastiest person you could ever meet, or you could live in a one-bed bedsit, little studio flat, no money whatsoever, and be the most down-to-earth, nicest person you could ever meet.
100%. I mean, honestly, I like, people think I'm a bit crazy sometimes because I do have this, you know, I'm in a pain a lot of the time and stuff.
Yeah, because Jenny, like, looking at you, you know, I mean, you look absolutely fantastic, and you would never know unless, you know, you may see you walking or whatever that you've got slight issues, but you would never know in a million years what you're actually going through. No,
you never know what anyone's going through, even if it's not physical, it could be mental as well.
100%.
But for me, you know, like, I'm lucky in the way that I do wake up every day. I feel like on top of the world every day, to be honest. It's like for no apparent reason, really. I just feel energized that I'm alive, and that, you know, the world's a lot better than we're told it is. Like, there's so much more good in the world than bad.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, if you turn off the news, then that's what I did in lockdown. I was shielding in lockdown.
Don't watch the news.
I was like scared. I didn't know what was happening. I was scared. The first 2 days of lockdown, I was like, oh, what's going on? And then I was like, well, I can't do anything. I'm supposed to be shielding anyway, so I can't go out. So I've got nothing to worry about, apparently, if I just stay in, you know, my little place.
All the news is going to do, Jelly, all it's going to do is bring you down to their level. The negativity, the division,
the fear.
You know, the fear, you know, all that.
Yeah.
Get rid of it.
Yeah.
Get rid of all that negativity out of your life, which you've done.
Yeah.
And now you're shining through. You're like a bright star. I mean, look at you. You've got these kind of conditions, and you're like a ray of sunshine in the back of my cab.
Thanks. No, yeah, it's so true. I mean, like, fear is probably the most dangerous thing, I think, in the world, and it's quite. I think 2020 kind of showed that it's quite easy to almost hypnotize people in a way to just be fearful, and, you know, we've seen it in other ways, you know, with like immigrants coming over, and we've got to be scared of them, and you know, scared of anything but the people who are in control, in power. You know, we want to. They want us to be fighting amongst ourselves, basically. And that's exactly what they want. They want division. They don't want unity because they're scared of unity. Well, unity is so powerful. I mean, you see that in a rave, and I know from early raves that, you know, my brother was going to in fields and things like that. You know, and raves that I've been to, incredible feeling of unity and love, and like this collective consciousness, really. I don't know how else to describe it, and that does come from the music as well. Like, there's a type of music, a type of beat, if you like, that taps into us as humans, that it's tribal. I think, you know, it goes back thousands of years, and for me that really, like, that just permeates my artwork as well. You know, it
unifies everyone.
Yeah, completely unifies people, and that it's almost it's 100% a spiritual feeling as well. Like, I have a lot of tribal energy through my work as well. Third eye features a lot. I'm really interested in ancient civilizations as well. Just so fascinating. Come on,
let me see. Let's pull out some of the garms. I mean, because obviously, a very important message, and the one I love is actually rave, not war.
Yeah, we should all be doing this.
And we should all be raving and not at war with each other.
Yeah.
Or, you know, all unify as one. And going a little bit closer, Jelly. It's absolutely wicked. Check this T-shirt out.
Can you see that? So that actually came from a piece that I did for Whitecross Street Festival. So that's actually up on the walls at.
Was that from a wall?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a wall. All of my stuff are walls.
Wow. So basically, it's like a photo image of your wall.
Yeah, I did that last year at the Whitecross Street Festival, which is like an arts festival, 2-day weekender, and lots of graffiti artists come down and do their stuff. And then they get the boards get put up on the walls for the year, and I'm going to be doing that again this summer as well. Another one, rave.
Wow. And I love the little like lightning bolt running through that.
Yeah, that was actually a piece. So that's also sort of reflected in this junglist bag here, and that was a piece I did at Old Street, on a wall down Old Street, and then I decided to turn it into, I just loved the image like so much, so I decided to turn it into something that's a bit more longer lasting, if you like.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And so I also do like sort of like a lot of tribal nods to tribal art and as well. And
wow,
a lot of eyes feature.
Yeah, I love that. What's that? Is that I love that little flick on the eyelid.
So so that's what I'm known for, is the sort of elongated eyelashes that I do.
Right.
That's my trademark through my work, and that's how people kind of recognise a jelly piece. Did like Keith when he died, Keith Flint, because I was just so annoyed that he passed.
Yeah.
And then these are some like just images of walls that I've done as well. That was one I did with the WOM Collective a couple of summers ago.
And you got the big glasses rocking.
Yeah, the bigger retro glasses as well. And so that's just under the railway bridge. And also I've done these pieces as well. So there's a lot of messages going through my work. So don't be a lady, be a legend. So that's a Stevie Nicks quote.
And Rebel with a Cause. And then Nina Simone.
The greatest Nina Simone, Rebel with a Cause. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I love Nina Simone.
That's amazing. I absolutely love these.
So these kind of pieces I get.
Can you buy them as a print?
Yeah, all of them. And these have been all around the world actually. So I've had these put up. People have put them up for me around like Australia, Brazil, and Napoli, like loads of different countries around the world. And I'm really into like, obviously, justice for Grenfell.
The one for the Grenfell,
This is like when Grenfell happened as well. I'm very into promoting and speaking out against injustice. This one is a little nookie quote: "Close your eyes and dream with me." So this was a piece that I also did for Whitecross Street Festival a couple of years ago. So that's from a wall as well.
I love that. I love the little the highlight on that helmet as well.
Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, I just love the sort of pop the pieces really. And then just various other pieces of artwork.
And the colours you're putting into these are incredible.
Yeah.
Really kind of vibrant.
I love colour. Colour's a huge part of my life since I was little.
You've got a smiley face on the arm.
Yeah, and then this one is a piece I did in Tottenham, which was like a Mother Earth piece.
Oh, you can see the brick wall.
Yeah.
Wow.
So and so that's like
look, that looks like
piece.
something you've actually drawn on a pad, not on a wall. But that's how clean and how detailed and how beautiful it actually is.
Yeah, a lot of people at Rave Story who saw some of my artwork was like, "Do you use airbrush?" I was like, "No, that's from a wall."
Yeah.
I never, because it's my work. I've never seen it, in any other capacity, because I know I did it on a wall. But for some reason.
And I love that it's got the jelly earrings in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely incredible art.
So
where can people buy your prints from, or your t-shirts?
My website is jellyjartist.com.
And that's JELLYJ artist.com.
Yeah, or go to my Instagram and all my links are on there, and that's
what's Instagram? Jelly J.
My Instagram is at jellyjartist.
Yeah.
As well. Yeah, you can buy stuff as well. Like I get that's where I get a lot of my commissions come through Instagram as well. I mean, all the merchandise is quite a recent thing really, which I only really started end of last year when Billy Daniel Bunter asked me to do Rave Story, and I was like, Junior Tomlin I knew that he was going to be doing it. And,
they're amazing. I'm actually I'm meeting Junior Tomlin next week.
Ah, nice.
We're going to do an interview, and I've just interviewed Pez as well from Rain Dance.
Yeah, I saw the Pez one with Richard Rain Dance as well. That was really cool. Yeah, they're funny. Due to actually since then, Richard Rain Dance has asked me to do his rain dance this year as well. He's also doing like a similar kind of like art stands and record fair type thing.
Oh wow!
And the whole Junior Tomlin thing. When I found out that he was going to be doing Rave Story, I was like, oh, okay, so I don't really need to do anything, because obviously people are going to be coming to see his stuff. And then I thought, oh, I'll just take some artwork just to show, not like sell anything. And then of course, like when you're promoting something like Daniel did, like Daniel Bunter, he did like a post on that Jelly J is going to be there, blah blah blah, and then there was like loads of comments saying, oh, can't wait to see what she's selling and the rest the rest of her artwork. And I was like, oh damn, I could actually like create some stuff here now. So that's why I did the merchandise. And yeah, it went really well. Like, yeah, they really took to it. And
it's absolutely beautiful. And also, speaking of Billy Daniel Banter as well, big up to Dan.
Yeah.
Record covers as well.
Yeah.
Do record covers.
Yeah, that's right. He's commissioned me to do like a set of 4 record covers, which are coming out throughout the course of this year. The first one came out already last month, I think. That was for a relatively new jungle and hardcore DJ and producer called Fakin. And it's a mixture of like new school jungle, if you like, and music mixed with some of the other albums are going to be like DJ vibes and like sort of retro old school stuff as well. It's incredible albums. So basically what he did is he gave me the music when he commissioned me for this artwork. He gave me all the albums and he said, listen to the music and I just want you to do your thing. He was like, he's been a real like fan of my work for a couple of years now, and
well, that's how I first heard about you. When I interviewed Billy Bunter, he's like, he was wearing one of your T-shirts.
Oh yeah, he's wearing that one. Yeah, Rave Not War.
Rave Not War, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. So he's been like a really amazing supporter of my artwork. Yeah, I'm just really grateful, like really humbled by that. Someone on his scale. And so he just said, look, I love what you do, so you just do your own thing, listen to the music, see what happens. And he's just like, I trust you. I was like, oh, okay. So I listened to the music, and to be honest, the process is how I work anyway. I work to music all the time, and music really inspires me. So I literally closed my eyes, listened to these tracks, wrote words that came into my mind, and then just created something from there. And actually what he wanted to do was each of the 4 record sleeves, all separate artwork, but he wanted the whole thing to also make up image as well.
Yeah, it's one piece.
Yeah.
If you put the 4 together, you'll get the one piece.
Yeah. And at first I thought,
that's a great marketing idea.
Yeah.
As well.
I thought that's actually going to be really difficult because it's 4 pieces of artwork if you're just buying one, but you still want it to all look cohesive together. But actually, it pulled together like really well and really organically. And there was only like a couple of edits to do along the way. He really loved it, and then, to be honest, I think it's probably one of my favourite piece of artwork that I've done. And there's a lot of energy going through those album covers, especially when you get the 4 together. And I think at some point he wants to, when they've all been released, is to get the whole thing sort of blown up big, at one of his events, which will look really cool. But I'm really excited to have those all released this year.
Yeah, no, it looks absolutely incredible. And also what them guys actually do, your Rich Rain Dance, Billy Daniel Bunter, Mr. C, and all these club promoters, it's great to see them still putting on events.
Yeah.
Because, as we say, Rave Not War, and everybody else as well within the whole, putting on events. We got to keep going and keep building, because it's what music's doing. It's building, it's unifying us.
Yeah, 100%. And like, especially, with all of the things going on in the world right now, it's a bit all over the place.
Well, it's a total madness, isn't it?
There's crazy stuff happening every day. And I think, it's really important for us all to realise that unity is the most important thing, and love, you know, those things are what keep us together, keep us sane. And if we don't have that, that's when instability sets in, and then
the thing is, Jelly, you look at some kids nowadays and you can see the hatred in their eyes. You know, you look at them and you won't get a smile. No one will smile, and everyone's like, it just seems like there's a lot of stress. There's a lot of hatred around towards one another. You know, what kind of positive message can you send to the kind of the younger generation, or all generations really, to kind of be uplifted? I mean, is there kind of like a positive message that you could sort of you know, give to anyone?
I mean, I think like a lot of I do think that hatred, fear, all of those negative emotions come out of insecurity as well. And so I think, you know, if you kind of follow your own path and stay true to yourself, then it's really hard for those negative emotions to come out. You know, I'm not saying, you know, you're going to have 100% rosy time every day or anything like that, but in general you'll have like a stable base for yourself. And, you know, I always kind of say to kids, you know, I've gone into schools and done talks on graffiti and what I do, and I always say to the kids, you know, because I can see in a classroom, it's just like classrooms haven't changed. You've got that disruptive bunch, you've got the quiet kid, you've got the one who you know is being bullied, you know,
it must be like being like a barrier being put into place, and they can't get over this kind of barrier.
Yeah, you know, it's like people feeling that like they have a place, they've been pigeonholed, and they kind of stick to that. And I say to them, because like we've just said, you know, it comes from stress and worry and insecurity and things like that, and fear of going into the unknown. I always say to them, you know, like when you think of us as all adults, you know, your teachers standing in the corner there, they're adults, your parents are adults, but in reality, all of us adults, we're all winging it. You know, we don't know what we're doing either, but we're just making the most of this life, and we're trying to do our best. You know, most people are just trying to do their best, and yeah, if the first thing you do is just follow your own path, then at least you're on that right direction to happiness, if you like, and then you won't rely on all these negative elements, like, I don't know, things and money and all these societal norms to make you happy. So, you know, that happiness has to come from within, essentially, and there are ways to make that happen, and it doesn't have to be from, you know, having a million likes on social media and things like that. And so if you just kind of focus on what you're about, and you know that you're an individual, and that being an individual and different is actually a good thing in this life, you know, it's a spice of life, right? Difference, if you like.
Yeah, and how to accept them differences. And I mean, what, you know, Jelly, for what you've actually, what you've been through, and what you're actually going through, and the way you're coping with you know the situation, you're an absolute star. You're an absolute, and you're a legend. You should be really proud of yourself.
Well, thank you.
You should be really proud of yourself,
thanks, that's very sweet.
And you know, and for what you're doing, pushing this kind of positivity, and you know, this really great like energy.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. That's I don't know what to say, but thank you. Yeah, that's a blessing to hear you say that. And
I think, to be honest, anyone watching this interview will totally agree with me. You know, you're an absolute diamond. As I said at the start, you're an absolute diamond.
Oh, thanks so much, Steve.
You're a star.
And thing, you know.
You're absolutely brilliant. And let's do this the old school way. Is there kind of like a shout out that you want to give to anyone? Obviously, you know, your partner and your family and.
I suppose my dad, who is no longer with us. We kind of, me and my brother kind of realised after he passed, we were like, you know, going through all these old photos, and he was like hosting like big parties back in the Caribbean when he was younger, and you know, getting up and yeah, sort of like chatting and stuff, and he always loved music. So I think that love of music really comes from him, that energy. But also, you know, my mum is an extremely strong person, so I'll probably get that strength from her as well. And yeah, just I think just big up all the artists doing it for themselves, and just people in general who are kind of going against the norm and just doing their own thing, really, just following their passion in life. I think that's the best thing you can do to yeah, have that for me is success, you know, I guess. But yeah, all the DJs, all the music, you know, without raving, I don't know if I'd be doing what I'm doing now. I definitely feel that energy kind of lives through me, you know, that musical entity. It really influences my work every day.
Yeah, and without music, without the, you know, the art form, and everything else, we'd be in a very, very sad place.
Yeah,
so
it'd be a dull world. And yes, of course, my partner, I have to, yeah, of course, a big, huge shout out to my partner who helps me every single day. You know, he literally just helps me to get dressed, and you know, anything that I need, he's there, and helps me to cut up my food and things like that. Is ridiculous that I'm actually painting, to be honest, like given the things that he needs to help me with. You know, he's the reason I've got my trainers done up today and things like that. That my laces are done up. So yeah, he's been incredible.
No, absolute legendary. Well, Jelly, you're an absolute star, an absolute angel, and I hope you've enjoyed this little cab chat.
I have, yes, thank you. No, it's been awesome. Thanks so much.
You've been an absolute star. And anyone watching, subscribe to the channel, share this interview around the socials. I've interviewed Public Enemy, Rodney P. London Posse, Skinny Man, T-Kid, Scheme, the TMT team, Part 1, loads of artists. And I've got loads of interviews, you know, on their way. So subscribe to this channel. And also, more importantly, go and check out Jelly J's Instagram page and follow her on Instagram.
Yeah, do.
And support what she's doing, because she's an absolute star.
Oh, thanks so much.
And I'm going to put your details in the description in this interview.
Yeah.
So anyone watching, go to the description thing below. But listen, it's been an absolute honour.
Thank you for having me.
Jelly, it's been brilliant. All right?
Cheers.
Peace. Peace.